holding here my pre-production OG, original Gamma, and the more recent production, a deep tooth cutting blade. My OG has a shallow tooth cutting blade. I've rearranged some things and wanted to try both shallow and deep tooth with the new production DLC and the OG DLC to see that they were both compatible and just to see that everything worked out okay. And what I've got here is two incredible machines. These machines are what all Gammas should work like to please anybody using them. So I'm going to be doing some more switching up. I've got some first production Gammas and new production Gammas. These have shallow tooth, these have deep tooth. The whole purpose for trying out two different blades, deep tooth versus shallow tooth, basically to me, the deep tooth gives you a crunch when it cuts the hair. The shallow tooth is quiet. Now, I don't know what it means to you. To me, it means nothing. To a lot of barbers, I think hearing that crunch makes them think the machine is hitting closer. It's really not that different. I've had clients in my chair tell me that the shallow tooth feels smoother. I've had them tell me that the deep tooth feels smoother. It's a preference thing, is the best I can give you. And I'm a tough person to ask because I can work with anything. The clipper doesn't do the cutting, you do. The right tools just make the job easier, like a mechanic. There's a reason they buy Craftsman and not Husky. You follow me? But it's a great machine, and I gotta co-sign it because it is what it is. What they're giving you is, what do we got here? Extra face plates, a charging base, USB charging cord. You want me to show you that? A little USB plug right here in the back. And that's how that goes. Plug it into your computer. No, you might be out cutting the homies with people hanging out. Plug it into the PS4, PS3, wherever there's a USB. You got power, B. Some cool things about the blades, to me, it doesn't matter which one you get. I do believe, though, that the deep tooth might stay cooler a little longer than the shallow. But I'm not saying that it gets hot either. It doesn't get hot to where it's uncomfortable. It just, it'll get warm and run warm. This, however, I don't know what it is. The deep tooth runs a little bit cooler. And it doesn't matter which one you get because they're gonna all be available to you. As a matter of fact, you're gonna be able to purchase the deep tooth if your machine came with a shallow tooth. If your machine came with a deep tooth, you're gonna be able to purchase a shallow tooth. Along with these two, I do believe that Gamma is going to be making a cutting blade that's extra thin, and that's incredible. I can't wait to see what that's like. I'm a junkie for this stuff, and it was so fitting that I fell into this situation, that I get to try them out and give my feedback. What intrigued me initially about the hitter was the power that it packs. And I found that in comparison to everything else I've ever used, they were cutting as close and as sharp as I wanted them to as a barber, but they were gentle enough for anybody that sits in my chair. Because you know what I'm talking about if you're a barber, how you might have that hitter, and then you've got something like the FX that you can't really zero gap and it's safe on kids, but it hits close enough for someone with soft hair, not really coarse hair. This was the one, my OG, that turned me on. This was the one that turned me out. It was the one for everybody. I used to have 10 clippers at my station, 4 of them being trimmers, 10 of them being trimmers, no, 4 of them being trimmers, a slim line, a corded detailer, a cordless detailer, and maybe a style liner M3, because every machine acted a different way. The detailer was that hitter, but it was too sharp to use on little kids, you know. Then I found the FX, and the FX was close enough for some, not everybody, but it was the safe one for kids. I don't want kids jumping out the chair and going through the ceiling tiles. They're like senior citizens. Don't forget about them. Their skin is so soft. The wrong machine is gonna get surgical and split their wig, and we don't want that to happen. So this was the one that was safe for everyone and sharp enough for everyone. When I first got it, it came with, it wasn't even this one, it was the first, when I got the first prototype, it came with a regular cutting blade, not DLC, and a deep tooth, a regular still blade, not DLC, and a deep tooth cutter. It was rough around the edges, but it was a hitter for sure. It was just as strong as my corded detailer, and it was almost just about as sharp. I was making crisp lines like I was with my slim line. So I told Gamma this and I told Gamma that, and they returned with the DLC blade and the funky shallow tooth that has these double serrated teeth on it. I wonder if you can see close enough there, but the teeth on the cutting blade are like double serrated. It's gonna be really hard to see. And each tooth is a double tooth. Something about that, I think, makes it cut unlike anything I've ever used. Because when zero gapped, it's sharp enough for anybody and still safe for any little kid or any 90-year-old who's got the softest skin like a newborn baby. In conclusion, I hope you find this video informative and help you make your decision on the Gamma Plus Absolute Hitter.